Hi everybody, my name's Rebecca Beattie and I'm the author of The Wheel of the Year, your nurturing guide to discovering nature's seasons and cycles. I thought what might be nice today is just to read you a bit of the introduction to give you a sense of how the book begins. And it starts like this. I wasn't born a witch. Few people of my generation were, although I have encountered the odd one along the way. I'm not the seventh daughter of a seventh daughter. I had no moments of envisioning the goddess whilst driving down the motorway. In fact, I was brought up in a little rural community that was largely Anglican, although looking back, the signs were there. My favourite time of year was the Harvest Festival. We would decorate the church with autumn flowers, red poppies and orange chrysanthemums, interwoven with ears of wheat, and we would bring food to donate to those who needed it most. In those services, the readings were all focused on nature and the season of creation. The service made me feel more at home than any other. Despite the long years of involvement with the local routine of the church, I always felt out of place and alienated by the lack of feminine divine presence. I studied comparative religions at school and I was fascinated by other people's traditions, not realising at the time I was seeking something. Although it took me a bit longer to realise I wasn't quite the agnostic I had believed I was. At 18, I left home and village life behind me and I set off in search of adventure and an acting career, which is what I was certain I was meant to do. Funny how life changes the map and leaves us wondering if somehow we've missed a turn. Fast forward about a decade, I was in my late 20s and based in London when the penny dropped. I had an active social life. I was involved in a bountiful creative venture, running a film collective with my two best friends. I was touring the country, performing in Macbeth, my favourite of Shakespeare's plays, but I was feeling dissatisfied and out of sorts. I'd just broken up from a significant relationship and I was frustrated that I hadn't been earning my income through acting. But it was more than that. I was experiencing a phenomenon that modern witches or pagans refer to as their Saturn returns. In astrological terms, it means that the planet Saturn, the sphere that governs stability and foundations, has come back into your chart at the position it was when you were born. In simpler terms, my world as I knew it was ending. Everything started to look shaky when I put it under the magnifying glass, and I started rethinking all of my life decisions. On tour, we were staying in farmhouses, surrounded by nature at every turn. I was getting up with the sunrise, walking in the rural landscape, and spending contemplative time in solitude, surrounded by trees and fields. I had time to breathe the air, and inspiration flowed in. This is what I'd been lacking in my life. In all the urban streets I walked down to auditions, in all the dusty rehearsal rooms and the admin jobs I'd taken to pay the rent, I'd been missing my connection to nature and, more importantly, I'd been looking in the wrong place for fulfilment. I'd been seeking outside of myself. My journey to self-discovery had begun. When I returned to London from that tour of Macbeth, I knew I'd found my spiritual peace in nature and that there must be more to life than the misery of the hard-nosed rejections I was experiencing in my acting career. I set off in search of meaning, intending to return to acting once I'd found my way back to a more fulfilled and fulfilling life. This path led to my training in Wicca. Don't be alarmed if you've not heard that term Wicca before, or if it makes you wonder if I'm a little peculiar. I really am, but then aren't we all? And I will tell you more about it as we go on. For now, all you need to know is that it's a spiritual way of life that centres on our sacred connection to nature. It was on this path that I learned all about the Wheel of the Year, a concept that helped me to understand my place in the world, to deepen that connection to nature I'd felt when touring the countryside, and to appreciate fully the wonders of its cycles, no matter the season or the location. There are various ways of carving up the year into smaller, more manageable time periods. Our Greco-Roman months of the year are one way, but other faiths also have their own methods of measuring time. For pagans, since the 1940s or 50s, the year has been defined and delineated by the Wheel of the Year. Yet this seasonal calendar is now spreading outwards and connecting with nature lovers more widely. If you've spent any time on social media over the last few years, you'll probably have encountered it. #Witches of Instagram is one of the most followed tags around. Witch talk is a thing, and people have become very curious about modern paganisms, including Druidry, heathenism, witchcraft, and the many other spiritual faiths that sit beneath the pagan umbrella and follow the Wheel of the Year. However, you certainly don't have to identify as pagan in order to find meaning in the wheel. As long as you're a lover of nature and want to spend more time there, reflecting, observing, dreaming, creating, healing, then the Wheel of the Year can help you do just that. Hope you've enjoyed my little reading, and if you want to find copies of the book, you can find it online or in good independent bookshops near you. Thank you.